it's amazing.
This is what you come to Everest Base Camp and the Himalayas in Nepal for. This is the Everest Base Camp trek, part 1. We did it! We braved the most extreme airport and flight in the world, and we are officially in the Everest region. We are about to start the 3-week trek from Lukla up to Everest Base Camp and then around the 3 passes back to Lukla. There are quite a few different ways to do the Everest Base Camp trek. The first and most direct way is going from Lukla to Everest Base Camp and then back down to Lukla again. It takes about 10 to 14 days, and it's the most popular and well-known trek in the region. Another way, which is the way that we wanted to go, is the Everest Base Camp trek with the 3 passes, and that is going from Lukla to Everest Base Camp and then around, like through some lakes and beautiful mountains, and you then end up back in Lukla as well. So we decided on the 3 passes trek, which takes 21 days minimum. 3 weeks on the trails, here we come. We are officially in Everest National Park, which is actually called Sagarmatha National Park. You can get your permit here at the gate, which is that beautiful gate right there. And that's it, you're on the trek. We decided to go at it on our own. No guide and no porter. We figured we'd make friends along the way. And we were right. So we're all geared up for a 3-week-long trek and an adventure of a lifetime. Hiking the EBC is gorgeous, but in some areas it is much easier than you would expect, and then in others it is incredibly grueling. However, all along the way there are beautiful sights to distract you, like prayer wheels, prayer flags, and of course, yaks. Holy cow, so beautiful. When you're on the trail, you spend a lot of time looking for signage. That's a big thing. You want to make sure that you're going in the right direction. And although thousands of people do this trek every year, there were many times where Kathy and I were on the trails and we were the only ones that we had seen for hours, if not an entire day. You get a lot of time with just you and your thoughts in the most naturally beautiful place in the entire world. As you go up in elevation, the views go from gorgeous to incredibly epic. Along the trek in Khumbu, there is a memorial for Scott Fisher and other adventurers who lost their lives in Everest. It's sombering and inspiring and humbling all at the same time. I ended up being incredibly sensitive to altitude, which was crazy to me and entirely unexpected because I was a snowboard instructor before I left on this trip. I lived in the mountains for 6 months out of the year at altitude, so the fact that I was not acclimatizing properly was incredibly frustrating and super surprising. I was so nauseous and I had absolutely no appetite. All of those are by the book symptoms of AMS, not okay, like not good. So I ended up luckily having the best hiking buddy in the world, Kathy, who was completely understanding, and even though it completely threw off our schedule, we went down so I could readjust at a lower altitude. We stayed there for another day and a half, and then we went back up. Sick again, so then I had to go back down, and there was a lot of double backing, way more than I would ever thought. Eventually we got my acclimatization under control, and we were able to continue up higher and higher to Everest Base Camp. The rooms themselves don't have any heat, so you sleep with a hat on in your mummy's sleeping bag in 3 pairs of long underwear with your water bottle at your feet, because if you leave your water bottle out, it will freeze overnight, which is so unfun when you then have to go hiking the next day and you have a frozen water bottle that you're carrying around. So the tea houses that you stay at are pretty epic. They are like something right out of an adventure novel. There's a stove, it's where everyone gathers, it's where you eat meals, and a lot of people are either sitting around, maybe drinking or talking, playing cards. Everest is seen as a goddess by the Nepalese, which means the entire area is a no-kill zone. So any meat that is eaten in the area has to be slaughtered off the mountain and then brought up by yak. Obviously this makes for some maybe questionable meat in the eyes of most people. This is not an issue for me because I am vegetarian, so I was completely fine with the no meat situation. I ended up eating so much yak cheese pizza. It ends up growing on you. After a full day of trekking, you can't go wrong with the yak cheese pizza. Or really any kind of pizza, actually. Coming up next is the Everest Base Camp Trek Part 2. Subscribe now for new videos every week, and thanks for watching!